I'm Kay Muma, Rosarian for Old City Cemetery. I am primarily in charge of the roses. I help to take care of them, I fertilize them, prune them, keep it clean under them, choose new varieties. Right now, this is our 24th year of celebrating the antique rose. Next year is our 25th anniversary. So right now I'm planting lots of new roses here, trying to get us up to having 500 different varieties, which will pretty much assure our place as the largest public collection of antique roses in the Mid-Atlantic. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think most people in Lynchburg don't realize we're that special. There's a couple of different places that I'll order them from, and then there are rosarians who go around and support places like this that we share product with one another when we have an abundance. So you just have to always be on the lookout, look at old books, look at things to find new things that you want to add. Traditionally, you know, roses, we think of roses as ornamentals now, but people would carry them around for different reasons. It started as worship. People would use the oils in sanctuaries, temples, mosques, whatever, and then pharmaceutical. And then people got into carrying roses as we traveled from Europe to the United States. They would bring slips of their roses. And when a family member died, they would take a slip, a little cutting from that rose, take it and bury it in their family plot. And so they became very important as symbols of the family, and the death and rebirth is of course a picture of life and death. So it just became part of the burial traditions. If you pay attention to the tombstones here, a lot of them have roses because of the time period in the 30s on the marker. They're part of, I don't remember the direct funerology, the funeral art and all of that in different tombstones. People who know that can look at a tombstone and guess it by the carving on the stone. You know, when I think I'm right in my number, when Jane White started the reclamation here, there were 6 roses that she found in all the rubble that were still here, and then she brought in Carl Cato, who's a famous Lynchburg rosarian. His name pops up in old books quite often, and most people have never heard of him either, and said, what can we do here along this brick wall that we're standing in front of? And he said, well, we could tell the history of roses. And so that's how it began. He set out, and people from all over the United States and Canada gave us the original collection. They didn't spend hardly any money at all. People were excited about his project. And that's when it started, and it's just snowballed from there. You know, it's a great visionary, way before his time. He started the Heritage Rose Foundation with another lady out in California, so it's been part of who we are from the beginning. I give rose walks, and you know, I'm here 3 days a week, and people have questions, and I often hear, well, roses are so hard. And I think my biggest job is to convince people that roses really aren't hard. We know the modern tea, which is difficult and finicky, but these old roses take care of themselves. Pretty much. We need a little bit of work, but they'll survive without us. And I think they're way underused in our landscape. And I've just recently put in a new bed over across from the chapel to try to encourage homeowners. You can use this like any other shrub. They're not hard. They have great benefits. We need to incorporate them. So that's, I think, a lot of my job. We have a new motto that I think is appropriate for what goes on here. It's Lynchburg Central Park. This time of year, about 4 o'clock till dark, you have all kinds of people taking prom photos, graduation photos, celebrating life events, Easter photos, Mother's Day. Our hillsides will be full of people picnicking. It's a very special place. People appreciate the scenery, the quietness, the peacefulness. I hope we can do more outreach in the community. I speak to several garden clubs a year about roses, and I would like to see us grow more volunteers, have the city take more ownership to get involved here and appreciate it for what it is. A lot of people that come by are from out of town, and I really would like to see that community interest and involvement in making sure we survive peak along with our 25th year. We've had bloom for about 3 weeks, and we'll probably have 3 weeks after this. But these older roses bloom at about the same time, unlike the modern teas that repeat. The China roses, which we have a lot of, people used to call them the monthlies because they will send out a bloom, just a little bit of bloom about once a month. So they'll flush now, and then they go quiet when it's 100 and 100% humidity, and they'll come back again with a slight flush of bloom in the fall when the nights cool off again. The rose sale is going on now. This time of year I'm standing there helping people make their selections. We have probably the largest collection of antique roses for sale at some place that's not a shop of roses, you know, a nursery that you'll find anywhere. This past weekend we had people drive all the way from Tennessee, drove here, got 3 roses and turned around and went home. It's that special.